the American system of economy, and that system which has been promoted by Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, who was the first one to develop this notion of physical economy, and which was subsequently promoted by Alexander Hamilton, by Friedrich List, by Henry C. Carey, and which was for sure developed very much further by my husband, Lyndon LaRouche. That system assumes that the only source of wealth is the creativity of the individual, because it's the ability of human beings to again and again discover universal physical principles, which are otherwise called scientific progress. And when you apply that scientific progress in the production process as technology, it leads to an increase of productivity and therefore an increase of the living standard, longevity, and the well-being of the population. And that is essentially what the Chinese model is approximating today. This is in stark contrast with the neoliberal monetarist model, the so-called British model, which basically looks not at the creativity of the individual, but as, at money. And therefore, this monetarist view, is quite satisfied if the stock value increases, if the profit increases, if all of these things lead to a temporary illusion of an increase of money, which for the most part is virtual. And obviously we have seen the spread of this neoliberal system, especially after the collapse of the Soviet Union, where all gaps and stops were taken out and the deregulation of the markets was just going haywire. And that led to the 2008 crash. The remedy was to print more money. They did not correct the causes of the 2008 crash, but went for quantitative easing, money printing, defense of the speculators and the banks. And that has resulted in the fact that we are now on the verge of an even bigger blowout, where many people are warning about. Janet Yellen, former head of the Federal Reserve, warned several times in the last weeks. Ron Paul, and the fact that the Fed just increased the interest rates again, very little, but nevertheless caused enormous nervousness in the markets. And there are many mines which could blow up. One of them being Deutsche Bank, which is continuously to go down. In the markets. I think it's somewhere around €7 per stock right now, or even, teetering around going below that. Or naturally, the big one is coming, which would be a disorderly Brexit, which could blow up the derivative markets of the City of London. And that is right now one of the big time bombs, where already warnings are about that could really go completely out of control. So obviously, this means we have to get the West to go away from the neoliberal model, which is not functioning, which has increased the gap between rich and poor. And we have to go back to the American system, or in Germany, the system of the Kreditanstalt für Wiederaufbau, which was contributing to the economic miracle in the post-war period, and go back to those kinds of policies which benefit the common good. And that would mean today the 4 laws of LaRouche, Glass-Steagall, National Bank, International Credit System, crash program for fusion economy and space cooperation, and then cooperate with the new Silk Road. This entire package must be put on the agenda if we are supposed to avoid total catastrophe.